All right, YouTube.com. We got the psychology of people who treat their birthday like a normal day. Let's get the behind the scenes scoop on why one would do that.
Let me ask you something.
If it's your birthday today, watching this video, or tomorrow, or whenever you see this video, happy birthday to you. All right? Let me preface by saying I once didn't really give a damn too much about birthdays, but yet I still cared. Because I told myself, as well as my parents, they told me, this was the day that you came into this world. What was going on before you came, months ago, years ago, when I came, and after I came, it was just sunshine. Whole lot of light. All right? So, your birthday is not just your day of birth, but it is your new year. You're starting a new life in a new year. That's really your new year. You know, on January 1st, you say, oh, Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year. Fuck that. Your new year is actually your date of birth, your day of birth. What did you accomplish from last birthday, from those 364 days to now, your next birthday? That's your real new year. That's what you should gauge. You know what I'm saying? Not from January 1st to the next January 1st. So shout out to you. Live it up. Be grateful. Be gracious. And be present in the moment on your birthday.
Something simple but quietly powerful. When was the last time you actually felt your birthday? Not just acknowledged it, not just replied thanks to a few messages,
Right.
but truly felt it. The way you did when you were a child. The way your heart used to thump with excitement at the thought of balloons, cake, and everyone's eyes turning towards you for one small, sacred day.
Nah, for real.
Now fast forward to adulthood. The same date comes and goes, but it feels like any other day. You wake up, maybe get a few notifications, maybe your mum calls, and then you move on. You tell people you don't really celebrate. You say you don't care. You say it's just another day. But is it really? Because underneath that nonchalance, underneath that casual shrug, there's often a quiet story.
That remains very loud in your heart. Very loud. Very, very loud, man.
People who treat their birthday like a normal day aren't cold, emotionless, or detached. In fact, often they're the most reflective ones. The ones who have learned to hide their expectations because disappointment taught them to. Psychologically, birthdays are emotional mirrors. They reflect how you feel about being alive, how you relate to attention, and how comfortable you are being seen. When someone says, I don't care about my birthday, what they're often saying is, I don't need validation anymore. But sometimes what they mean is, I stopped expecting it. There's a difference between maturity and emotional withdrawal, and birthdays have a strange way of showing us which one we've leaned into. Some people genuinely grow out of birthday excitement, not out of sadness, but out of peace. They've found meaning in ordinary days, in routines, in quiet moments. To them, joy isn't confined to a calendar date. They've learned that life itself is the celebration. But for others, the story is different. For them, birthdays are quietly complicated. They might bring up subtle anxiety, not because of age, but because of memory. Maybe birthdays remind them of moments when they felt forgotten, or maybe they once cared too much and got hurt by unmet expectations. So instead of saying, this year I hope someone remembers, they say, it's just another day. It's protection disguised as indifference.
That's the home run right there. That's the grand slam. Protection disguised as indifference. Protection. Protection. That's what everybody in this world walks around and does. They project and they protect. Protect what they think is theirs, what they think they own, and they project what they think they know, only because they went through it. Yep. So they latch on to their pain. They latch on to their disappointments, their heartbreaks, you know? And it is I'm gonna tell y'all the most noble thing you can do. The most noble thing you can do after a heartbreak of any sort, could be from losing a job, losing a partner, a friend, losing money, your car, anything material, anything that is painful to your spirit. The most noble thing you can do is look elsewhere, which is to also say you don't stop search. You don't stop the search. For instance, I'm gonna use basketball for me. Basketball. In the darkest moment of my life, I still didn't quit basketball. I still didn't quit. I mean, nobody cared. Nobody was checking. Well, besides my family, which is the strongest, most powerful support you need.
JB and the fam, we getting back together.
Oh, diggity!
Up, you light as a feather. You never go outside, complain about the weather.
What's good, body bag? Oh, dig! My brother with the 48 motherfucking months on the 48-month streak, man. Thank you so much, bro. Thank you so much, man. Big W's, bro. Hey, yo, dog. That B-O-O-K. Don't call me Jaden Turnthie Banks, your favorite streamer. Call me Jaden Turnthie Banks, your favorite streamer. And Arthur. Huh? Nah, but yeah. When nobody was looking or checking for anything, I still had basketball as my love. I didn't give up completely. I didn't quit basketball. I didn't quit on myself. As much as I wanted to quit the team, I wanted to quit playing basketball, I wanted to do something else to just get my mind off of my fucking love, the love of my life. I kept training. When you get your heart broken, don't let it make you stop loving. Of course, it'll morph your perspective because now you were now tapped into something that you never experienced before. So it's like, oh shit, you get shell shocked mentally. That happens, but don't allow it to stop you from loving. Bro, when I got out of high school and got out of that phase of all that shit hurting me, bro. Nigga, my love for basketball grew even more. My IQ, my perspective on basketball grew even more. In a relationship, we've all got our heart broken. All of us. Either from a friendship, family ship, or an actual relationship with a partner. We've all got our hearts broken. Like, how could they? How dare they? Why did they? When they didn't have to, right? Don't let it make you stop loving. It doesn't mean for the next time be more overbearing and more overprotected because you're trying to protect your heart. But that's what everybody, I'm saying a lot to say, that's what everybody is doing. Protecting and projecting. Remember that shit. So you can give people grace because the more you know is the more you see. And the more you see is the more you can extract all of the, you can extract all of that and be like, well, I know why this person, I may not agree, which I don't have to, but I know why this person is coming from this point of view. You know? Like I said, I'm drunk, bro, real drunk. I got a funeral to go to tomorrow, trying to think about it, but it's hard. A family that helped me when I was down and out. When I say I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them, I mean I wouldn't be here. If it wasn't for them, they really are family to me. If blood family wasn't a thing. Who is it, body bag? Like a friend you meant round away? A brother? But damn, dog. Sister. Whew. Yeah. Yeah, fam. Hmm. Oh yeah, body bag. Mm-hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. I feel for you, bro. You and your family, man. Oh, well, as a brother, nigga, I'm gonna say that ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna fix nothing. You'd be way better off crying that shit out. Crying that shit out than drinking that shit away. Cause down the line, body bag, it's gonna be worse. Cause you're not gonna know how or when to let it out. You're not gonna know how or when. Mm. Hey, I love you, bro. You know that. You know you got love here, man. Always. Always and forever, bro. But there's one thing I can say. You know me, bro. You know me. It's one thing I can say, man. Do your best to not be selfish. You know? Do your best to not be selfish during these times. And it's so difficult to understand, to grasp your mind around, you know, death, somebody, But I mean, with the selfish thing, it's I. It's I. Me, I, da, da. So if whenever you can, shift that perspective to your sister. Remember how she helped you. Think about how she helped you. It may not make you feel better right now, but that comes down the road. You're not worrying about trying to feel better. She helped you because she wanted to see you with what she gave you, nigga. She wanted to see you with a better life. She didn't want to see you down and out, down in your dick, and she didn't want to be like, man, I'm gonna just let him do what he's supposed to do. Let him do, you know. So in these times, man, be a little selfless. You know, be a little selfless, man. But I love you, bro. You know what I'm saying? Holla at me, nigga. Number ain't never changed. Never gonna change. Holla at me if you wanna, you know what I'm saying?
And that's where the psychology gets fascinating, because it tells us how the mind adapts. When we feel repeated emotional letdowns, the brain begins to lower the bar. It's called emotional self-protection. You reduce anticipation to avoid disappointment. You teach yourself not to hope too loud. And while that might sound sad, it's actually a form of emotional intelligence, a way of maintaining balance. The brain prioritizes stability over excitement, when
Right.
excitement has often led to pain.
Because that's peace. That's peaceful. And wow, beautiful depiction. Y'all know I love water. I love going to the lake. Love being at the beach, body of water and shit. When it's not windy outside and it's humid, not too hot, it's just right in the middle. Sun beaming and just glazing the water ever so clearly. The water is not moving. It's not extremely turbulent. It's not flowing hard. See what I'm saying? It's peaceful. It's at peace. It's still. That's still water. That peaceful water is a beautiful sight, man. It's a beautiful sight to see. So yeah, I agree. Definitely is a sign of emotional intelligence. And it's high because not everybody wants it, but they're not willing to do what it takes to achieve peace. Everybody wants it. You want peace in a relationship, peace at the workplace, peace with your job, peace with money, peace with your home life, peace with family, peace with your peace with the But you're not gonna get that because you're not willing to do what it takes to get that. Mia with the prime. Some W's in the chat, Mia. Thank you so much, Mia. Thank you, girl. Keep being amazing. I can't be nothing else in this life. I can't be nothing else. I wish I could. I wish I could be something else. Shit, you know? Thank you so much for the love, girl. Thank you. You know? It's cause guys, that's where we're at. Don't y'all get it? That's where we're at with all of this shit, bro. If you can keep a still mind in a boring life, you have the most fulfilling. You have the most peaceful. That's the game. That's the game. Then you beat it. You beat it. Who are you fighting against? Nobody. I'm not fighting my own feelings, my own thoughts, my own emotions, other people's thoughts, feelings, and emotions. I'm not fighting none of it. Why would I need to? I don't need to. I just, what they say, let go and let God. Let go and let God. Let them. Let you. Let yourself go. Like, I really think, me being an adult, I never subscribed to the idea of adulthood being so stressful. Adulthood being so strenuous. Adulthood being so, I never did, bro. I never did. Even when I seen all the shit, I was amongst it around me. Still to this day. Most of my family just, oh shit, man. Bro, I can't even rub two cords together, nigga. Man, I can't even, whole lot of that going on. Who said you gotta be so hard up when it comes to adulting? Because people are not ready or haven't been taught, that's first, they haven't been taught how to take things one at a time. One thing at a time. Somebody tell me, how do you make a to-do list right now? In your life right now, what do you do? Like, let's say it's Saturday or it's Sunday. Black folk love to clean on Sunday. It's Sunday or it's Saturday, and you wanna change shit around. How are you gonna write your to-do list? Well, I'm gonna tell you how most people write their to-do list. Most people write their list, okay, to-do list, cleaning or revamp. They gotta go to the grocery store. They gotta do the dishes. They write all of this. Groceries, dishes, laundry, and fold it. Move my desk around. Hang my clothes up. Clean my refrigerator. Mop, sweep, right? Clean the tub, right? They write all these things down. So you have about almost 10 things on your to-do list 10 things in your brain. So it takes you so fucking long to do 2 of those things. Whereas, well, so JB, what's like the most effective way to write it? To-do list. Do the dishes. That's what you write. To-do list, do the dishes. And then, once you're done the dishes, you'll see how fast that took. How effective it was when you got one thing, one on a first thing basis. I got one thing done. Great. Great. Now you erase that, you scratch that off, and now you type or you write, wash my clothes. Wow, this all it took? And I had clothes in my shit for 5 days, almost a week, you know what I'm saying? Wash your clothes, obviously put them in the dryer, take them out, all of that. That process takes about an hour, but guess what? You can do something else. So keeping things at a first thing basis. People weren't taught that shit.
But here's the twist. Over time, that same self-protection can quietly dull joy. The heart that once shielded itself becomes a little too careful. You start walking through your own life like a guest at someone else's party. Polite, observant, but distant. Think about how many people smile and say, "Oh, I don't really do birthdays." But later, they quietly replay the day in their mind, noticing who didn't message, who forgot, who said nothing. We all do it, even the ones who claim they don't care, because caring is human. Even pretending not to care is a form of caring, just inverted, compressed, hidden under a shell of composure.
Yes, bro.
Psychologists call this avoidant validation behavior. It's when you convince yourself you don't need recognition.
Convince, yes.
Because part of you fears not getting it. And it often develops in people who, at some point, learned that emotional needs were inconvenient. That it was easier to need nothing than to be disappointed again. So when you...
Woo! It was easier to need nothing than to be disappointed again.
You meet someone who treats
Nasty
their birthday
face.
like any other day,
Nasty
don't
face.
assume they're emotionally detached. Sometimes they've just made peace with disappointment. They've traded excitement for control, but control has a cost, because underneath the calm surface of "it's just another day" lies an emotional truth. We all want to be seen, not praised, not celebrated in grand
Seen.
gestures,
Yes,
but
seen.
seen,
What's up?
genuinely.
What's up?
There's something deeply symbolic
How
about
fucking simple is
birthdays.
that shit?
They mark existence itself, the one day a year that belongs entirely to you, not for what you've achieved, not for who you're with, but simply because you exist. And for many people, that reminder brings mixed emotions. Some feel gratitude, others feel loneliness. Some feel both at once, like a strange cocktail of nostalgia and indifference. It's because birthdays, whether we realize it or not, remind us of time. They remind us how far we've come and how far we haven't. That's the silent psychological trigger most people overlook. For some, treating their birthday like a normal day is their way of staying emotionally grounded. It's their way of keeping time from feeling too heavy. If I don't make it a big deal, they think, then it won't feel like another year slipping away. There's also something cultural about this shift. In childhood, birthdays are social milestones. They connect us to belonging. But in adulthood, that spotlight often feels strange. Many adults quietly wrestle with the tension between wanting to be noticed and wanting to avoid seeming needy. And that inner tug of war shows up subtly in how they treat their own birthday. Because here's what happens beneath the surface. When you grow up being the responsible one, the strong one, or the giver, your mind internalizes a message. Your joy comes second. You learn to downplay your needs. You become the one who remembers everyone else's day, but forgets your own. And over time, your birthday starts to feel irrelevant. You're not even sure what you'd do if someone planned something big. It feels awkward, maybe even unnecessary. But the truth is that discomfort with being celebrated isn't humility. It's emotional fatigue. Deep down, many of these people still crave to feel seen, but not in the loud way. They don't want attention. They want understanding. They want someone to remember not just their date of birth, but who
Sometimes though, no, sometimes, because in the other case, this person or this AI may speak about the ones who do want to be praised loudly, and when they did want it, nobody had the wherewithal or the care to give it. You know what I'm saying? So and there, guess what? There is nothing wrong with that too. Some people want a big gesture, a big, oh my God, like I'm so surprised. Some people do want that shit.
they've been becoming all year. Because that's the paradox of emotional maturity. The more emotionally self-reliant you become, the harder it feels to receive love without suspicion. So
Mm,
birthdays become
mm, mm, mm.
because that's the paradox of emotional maturity. The more emotionally self-reliant you become, the harder it feels to receive love without suspicion. So
Shit.
birthdays become neutral zones,
Mm.
places where vulnerability would normally surface,
Ooh.
but gets replaced by practicality. It's fine, you say. Let's just get through the day. But behind that quiet tone, the mind is processing dozens of emotions. Nostalgia for childhood excitement, subtle sadness at lost connections, gratitude for survival, and a soft longing for simplicity, for the kind of joy that used to come effortlessly. That's what makes this psychology so universal.
Mm.
Even if you think you've outgrown birthdays, part of you still remembers what it felt like to be celebrated without hesitation.
Hell yeah.
There's also a layer of existential reflection that psychologists have observed in adults around their birthdays, something called temporal self-awareness. It's the
Temporal.
moment you look back at the person you
Temperament.
were a year ago and quietly measure the gap between who you wanted to be and who you are now.
Mm.
And sometimes that gap is uncomfortable. That's why for some people,
Hey,
birthdays feel
run.
like mirrors, not parties. They highlight the silent distance between expectation and reality, and rather than face that reflection, people prefer to downplay the day altogether. But it's not apathy, it's introspection. It's the human mind saying, give me space to process my own timeline. So if you've ever felt strange about your birthday, like you're supposed to feel something you don't, know that it's normal. You're
Mm.
not ungrateful or detached. You're simply aware. You're aware that time is moving. You're aware that validation feels different now. You're aware that celebration means something deeper than cake.
And as well, evolution, your definitions change because now your brain is now susceptible and open to higher levels of thought.
And candles, because birthdays are never really about age. They're about meaning. And the
Mm.
older we get, the more personal that meaning becomes.
Yes.
When you were a kid, your birthday was about the world recognizing you. When you're an adult, it's about you recognizing yourself. It's less
Mm.
about presents and more about presence. Less about who shows
Ah,
up
presence. Yeah, right.
and more about how much of you has shown up in your own life.
Mm.
That's the subtle shift most people don't talk about. And yet, it explains everything about why we stopped making a big deal out of it. Because maybe we've stopped trying to be celebrated by the world and started trying to make peace with our own journey. But even in that peace, there's an echo, a quiet voice that says, I hope someone still remembers.
Ha!
That's the paradox of emotional evolution. You can be content and still crave connection.
Yep.
You can be grounded and still miss the
And I heard this. Where you believe that two things can be true at once. There's a phrase for that. What's the phrase for when you believe two things can be true at once? No, not a paradox. Ah, yes, from George Orwell, 1984. Yes, yes. I was watching the teacher. I was watching the teacher talk to his students about words. Like he said, what does assimilation mean? And then he said, what does ubiquitous mean? Yes. And he was like, what does assimilation ubiquitous mean? Like together. And then he mentioned what is doublethink, right? So that's important to know as well. Like having too many, that's like you attempting to be in two places at once. Because where your mind goes, your thoughts flow. And when your thoughts flow, your feelings flow. When your feelings flow, that's where you are. Because you feel it. You can be bought or sold off of your feelings. Right? Not what you actually possess. So that was very wise. That was very wise.
The thrill of being seen. And that's okay. That's human. Because treating your birthday like a normal day doesn't mean you're numb. It means you've learned that joy isn't something to be scheduled. It's something you carry quietly, every day, in the small ways you keep showing up for yourself, that someone will see through the armor. So, a birthday becomes a subtle test. Not one you announce, but one your mind quietly observes. Who remembered? Who reached out without a reminder? Who still sees you when you're not visible?
Let go of that shit,
And
though.
even if you tell yourself it doesn't matter, a small part of you still checks. That's not weakness, that's humanity.
Yep.
Because no
That's
matter how
fine.
self-aware or emotionally independent we become,
You still would
we
want.
never outgrow the need for connection.
Right.
We just get better at hiding it. There's also a fascinating paradox in how people relate to time on their birthdays.
Penguins
For
win.
some, it
W.
feels like progress. For others, pressure. And the brain
That
processes
hit.
that pressure
Cha-ching.
differently depending on your emotional history. If your past years have been fulfilling, birthdays feel like milestones. But if the last year has been heavy or confusing, a birthday can feel like a subtle confrontation with yourself. A reminder that another year has passed, and the questions you haven't answered are still waiting. That's why many people prefer to blur the day into the rest of the week. It's not denial, it's self-preservation. It's saying, I'll reflect when I'm ready. But even in that quiet, the day carries weight. It stirs memory, gratitude, regret, nostalgia, all at once.
You know what's wild to y'all that I really just can't unhear and unsee? That yeah, and we're really having, talking points on all of this shit. Human talking points. Bro, this whole script, all this shit AI.
Oh my God!
All this shit AI. They came up with the title. That probably took them the longest. The script, tibbity type, and these images, tibbity type. Oh man, where are we living at?
It's like your subconscious takes inventory of everything that's changed and everything that hasn't. And in that internal dialogue, something powerful happens. You realize that
Maybe.
birthdays, stripped of all tradition and expectation,
Getting these okay, I'm gonna tell you, Dan. What took the longest in this order? Putting the images in the editing software and then syncing the AI voice with the captions, the voice. So the images, AI voice, captions.
are actually checkpoints of consciousness. They force you to pause even for a moment and ask, am I living honestly? Am I still becoming someone I recognize? Do I like the story I'm telling with my life? When you treat your birthday like a normal day, it doesn't mean you're avoiding those questions. It might actually mean you're facing them, quietly, privately, without an audience. Because not every kind of growth needs to be broadcast. Some
Right.
growth is invisible.
Yes.
It's in the way you react differently than you used to.
Man.
It's in the way you forgive faster, complain
Man.
less, or
Man.
find beauty in moments that once went unnoticed.
Damn right.
And maybe that's the truest kind of celebration. When you
Fucking
don't
right.
need the day to feel extraordinary.
Oh,
because
no.
you've learned to find the extraordinary inside the ordinary.
I'm better, I'm better, I'm
Still,
better, I'm
there's
better,
a
I'm
gentle
better.
truth worth remembering. Even the most self-sufficient souls still deserve to feel special once in a while.
Oh, for sure.
Not because they need validation, but because recognition nourishes the parts of us that carry others.
Man,
The
what?
ones who treat their birthdays like any other day are often the same people who hold space for everyone else's milestones. They're the quiet anchors in their circles, the ones who remember your important dates, who check on you first, who give without keeping score.
Praise be in thunder,
And sometimes
brothers
those people
32.
forget that they too deserve light,
Damn.
that it's okay to let
What's
others
the,
give back, that you don't have to earn joy by being strong all year.
What's the
Because
quarter?
even the calmest souls still need warmth. Even the independent hearts still need to be seen,
For real.
not for what they do, but for who they are. There's nothing wrong with wanting that. There's nothing weak about missing it. If you've ever felt that quiet ache on your birthday, the kind that doesn't demand attention but still hums beneath your chest, that's your heart reminding you that connection still matters. It's reminding you that you're human, and that's the whole point of the day. It's not to celebrate perfection or achievement, it's to celebrate the fact that you're still here. Still learning, still evolving, still trying to make sense of what it means to live. So maybe the psychology of people who treat their birthday like a normal day isn't about indifference at all. Maybe it's about integration, the merging of joy and reflection, the acceptance that not every emotion has to be loud to be real. And yet, even in that peace, there's space for small gestures, because one text can still make someone's day.
For
One
real.
voice note, one call, one moment of presence. We underestimate how much those tiny acknowledgements mean to someone who says, "It's just another day."
That's right.
To them, it's not about the size of the celebration, it's about sincerity. It's about being reminded that their quiet
Intentionality.
existence still ripples outward, still matters to someone. And maybe that's the real psychology of it all, that deep down, none of us truly want to be invisible. We
Oh,
just
no.
want to be loved in the language we understand. Some people want fireworks, others just want peace. Some people want surprises, others want consistency.
Mm.
Some people want crowds, others want one person who listens.
Mm.
And that's okay. There's no right way to experience your own existence.
Mm.
So if your birthday feels ordinary, if you went to work, made your coffee, checked your messages and carried on, maybe that's not something to fix. Maybe it's something to honor, because what you're really saying is, my life is already full enough to not need one day to make it meaningful.
That's right.
That's not detachment, that's gratitude in disguise. But at the same time, let yourself be soft. If you miss the excitement you once had, it's okay to feel that too. Missing your younger self doesn't mean you've regressed. It means you're remembering what innocence felt like before the world taught you restraint. And perhaps that's the greatest gift you can give yourself on your birthday. To remember the child who once counted down to midnight with glowing eyes, who believed that one day could hold infinite magic. Because that child is still somewhere inside you, waiting not for a party, but for acknowledgement.
That's it.
Waiting for you to whisper, "Hey, I see you.
Yep.
We made it another year." That's the kind of celebration that
Oh,
doesn't fade when the
yeah!
candles go out. That's the kind that stays with you. So if your birthday ever feels like just another day, don't feel guilty for it. It's not emptiness, it's evolution. It's the mind learning that meaning doesn't need noise. And yet, in the quiet,
While I make a noise.
if someone remembers, let them. Let them say your name. Let them remind you that you matter. Because you
Rain
do,
down
even on the
on
days that feel
me.
ordinary.
Rain
Even when you treat your
down on
birthday like
me.
a normal day.
Yep.
Especially then.
Yep.
Because maybe that's the most beautiful thing about growing up.
Yep.
Learning that celebration doesn't always need confetti.
Yep.
Sometimes it just needs awareness. A moment of stillness. A deep breath. You don't have to make a wish. You already are one. A living continuation of every version of yourself that made it here. And that's worth celebrating, quietly or not, every single year.
That's word up, man. That's word up and word down. You feel me? All right, Key. I hear you, Key. Dig that right there. Great video.